Is your business protected against the threat of malicious litigation and frivolous lawsuits? Are you sinking company profits into marketing campaigns that do nothing to contribute to the growth of your business? Bottled Business Sense provides practical business perspectives that uniquely emphasize both legal and media marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. And whether you're trying to provide a startup business with some level of stability or an established business with foolproof asset and estate protection, or simply attempting to get a better return for your business marketing dollars, Bill Bernard and Rick Moscoso will expose potential pitfalls to ensure the security and growth of your business, free from unwanted expense and the threat of litigation. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection tools equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Let's join Bill and Rick for today's Bottled Business Sense show.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Bottled Business Sense show. I'm Rick Moscoso, and on the other side we have my co-host, Bill Bernard. Today, we are going to talk about developing a business plan that anyone can execute, and we've divided it up into 3 different sections so we can overview those sections in a little bit more detail. And to start off, I want to bring Bill online, and we can get rolling with the topic for today. So how are you doing today, Bill?
I'm doing great, Rick. Thank you. And hi, everybody. We're glad to be back with you. We know that you take this information that we provide you and utilize it day in and day out, and we appreciate that. All free information and can all be found online through social media, which Rick will go through at the end of the show. But what Rick stated, I'll echo here for a second. We've developed this show into 3 different parts. We're going to talk, number 1, about what a business plan does. And then we're going to talk about brainstorming and what you have to think about with regard to your specific business plan. And finally, we're going to talk about the implementation of the business plan, that is putting pen to paper and actually writing it out and using it as a yardstick that you can look at and measure your business, the progress of your business over the course of its lifetime. So the first thing I thought we'd talk about, Rick, is the ins and outs of developing a business plan. And we all know that a plan helps you answer important questions about what's the best business model to follow, what is the future path of the business, and how the business is going to reach its goals. Those are always very important. But the first thing we want to do when we analyze this thing and say, what does a business plan do? I think we ought to kind of list these for everybody. And I think the first thing is we want to impress upon everybody that investors and banks are going to want to see a well thought out, comprehensive plan, right? I mean, if you're going to enter business and you have all the money in the world to develop your business without some sort of a financial backing, then you're great. But as most young businesses know, they're going to need some financial help. And you need to know that investors and banks want to look at some plan that they think is going to be worth their while to help you out in, right? Only makes sense.
Yep.
What else does it do, Rick? I mean, you developed a business plan. The business plan helps you think about your goals, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think almost every entrepreneur starts with the idea, the product, the market, and all that stuff prior to what we're leading off with. Because, without a good plan, without achievable goals that you've set for your business, doesn't matter really how good a product is. It's all driven about, are you achieving those goals? Are you close to hitting those milestones along the way? I think that's definitely a very important part of it, and most entrepreneurs kind of skip that.
And in order to reach those goals, the next bullet point that we need to remember about in envisioning what a business plan actually does is it gives you a deeper understanding of your market competition, right? I mean, if you have a business plan in place, one of the things you're going to look at as a natural byproduct of that plan is the competition in your market for what you want to do, right?
Right.
You're also going to allow this business plan to be a roadmap for you. So as your business grows, you'll be able to look at this roadmap and kind of get an idea of what's going on during the course of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, your business plan provides you with a benchmark to measure your business against. So as you grow your business, you use it as a benchmark. So to recap what a business plan essentially does, it provides a roadmap for investors and banks in terms of what they expect to see. Number two, it forces you to think about your goals. Number three, it gives you a deeper understanding of your market and your competition. Number four, it provides a roadmap that helps you keep your business on target and organized. And finally, number five, it provides a benchmark to measure the growth of your business.
Yeah.
So you not only use it as a dual benchmark to make sure that you're following your goals, but you use it as a benchmark in terms of looking at a graph to see if it's growing or declining.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important part that you just mentioned there, because without a plan or without that graph, without that roadmap, how do you make the right adjustments?
Right.
If your business kind of gets off track a little bit.
Exactly right, and that's essentially what we want to think about, or understand, I should say, when we are thinking about developing a business plan. Let's go to the second part of this show, and that is brainstorming. What do you think about when you're going to develop your own business plan? Well, what are you selling, right? What are you selling, or what your services are? You got to think about that. You already probably know what that is, hopefully, going into the plan. And then you got to figure out who your market is. And now we're not going to go into this whole analysis about market analysis. We're here to tell you basically that you have to do a market analysis, because I think in one of our many other shows, we went into niche marketing and what marketing is and how you develop marketing. And we did that, I think, in a couple of shows, and we may have even done one with our colleague, Steve Smith, a business coach. Yeah. So you got to know your market, and you got to know how your product or services will help your customer and how much you're going to charge and what you're going to get paid, right? All of those things are things that you need to think about concerning the specific product or service that you're going to provide. What are some other ones, Rick? Well, you got to know how your customers will know about your business, right? How are they going to find out about you?
Yeah.
You don't have to just know how to market to your clients, your potential niche clients, the ones that are going to be most interested in your products or services, but you have to know how to market, what marketing tools to use, right?
Yeah, that's extremely important.
We have to know what obstacles stand in our way. What do we have to know to fight these obstacles that we think will come up as we implement these plans? And finally, what are the solutions to those obstacles? So I think, to recap, when we brainstorm about our own business plan, we have to know what we're selling or servicing, what our market is, who's going to be in our market, how our product or service will help our customer in that market, how much we're going to charge, how much we're going to take out for profit, what we're going to get paid, in other words, how our customers are going to find out about the business, because we're going to have to use specific marketing tools that apply to our business, service, or product. And we're going to have to know what the obstacles are that stand in our way and how to resolve what are the solutions to those obstacles, right?
Yeah, and I think the section that we're talking about here in brainstorming is just as important as the first section, because this is the tactical plan, right? This is the tactical plan that your investors will be looking at. How are you going to move your product or service?
I agree with you 100%. That's a good point. When all is said and done, Rick, we then have to implement the plan. We have to put pen to paper, and that's the third section here of the show that we've broken up. And we've broken that section up into 5 categories. The first one would be the executive summary, the company description. You have to put pen to paper and describe what your company does in a paragraph or two. Why did you choose your business name? Why did you choose the particular business entity structure that you did? Remember, we've talked about that many times. Are you a sole proprietor? Are you an LLC? Are you an S corporation? Are you a C corporation? Are you a partnership? God forbid, I hope you're not. A partnership, that is. But these are things that you have to write down, and you have to summarize your vision and your goals. And many times, Rick, we have a vision statement, right, that we put on websites and different marketing, social media marketing. So this executive summary is nothing more than a company description of the items that I just referenced. The second thing you have to do talks about more detail about what we talked about a little earlier in the show. You have to do your market analysis. You have to do detailed statistics and research on your target market. You have to use the market research to explain why your business will appeal to potential customers. And you have to do new market research if you explore future product lines or future services that you didn't explore or intend when you first started your business, right? So what are we going to use as marketing strategies? Are we going to use digital marketing? Are we going to use flyers? Are we going to use the telephone directory? Are we going to use a combination of those things? I found a couple of places, Rick, that might provide some useful marketing research and consumer data. One of them is called American Fact Finder, which is a section of the Census Bureau. Another one is called eMarketer, emarketer.com. And another one is Ask Your Target Market, that you can probably Google and find some insight to. So this second section of the third part of our show, again, goes into marketing analysis, and we all know how incredibly detailed that can be, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a show in itself when you talk about marketing.
Right, exactly right. The next thing you want to do is make some financial projections when you put pen to paper. What your business will accomplish financially over the next 3 to 5 years. This is important for two basic reasons, I think, Rick. Number one, if you have external fundraising, right? You might have some sort of fundraising in all kind of various forms, which include banking and financial institutions. But also, it reassures your staff, suppliers, and customers, and even shareholders, if you have a corporation, what you intend to do over those next 3 to 5 years, so they get an idea what the costs are going to be, right? I mean, that's incredibly important, I think. Potential investors, creditors, business partners all want to know whether they're going to make a good investment in your business and whether you're going to need additional funding in the future. But the important point, I think, here is that you need to bring, in addition to your lawyer, bring an accountant on board and go over these financial projections with an accountant. That's extremely important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about that in a number of episodes.
Right. So that's really very important. How about your team, Rick? The organizational structure of your business and the key employees that you're going to have. You got to think about who you're going to hire, if anybody. But moreover, then you start to think about what kind of business you're going to be. By that, I mean, are you going to be a sole proprietor? Because if so, you're going to probably outsource a lot of things to independent contractors and may not have a lot of employees. That brings a whole array of other things into play. Are you going to be an LLC? If you are, you're going to have to determine whether or not you're going to have employees or independent contractors, but you're also going to have to determine how you're going to be taxed. Are you going to claim your S corporation for tax purposes? Are you going to have an S corporation instead of an LLC? These are all very important decisions that you have to write down on your business plan in order to put pen to paper and understand what it is that would be best for you. And you do that in conjunction with association with your counsel and your accountant. Two critical. And of course, we've talked many times, haven't we, Rick, about the three people that we need to bring on board for any business. What are they?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the business attorney is key. We've talked about your CPA and then a marketing person. Exactly
right. The three musketeers, I like to call them. Right? Yeah. Good. And then finally, in putting pen to paper, you want to talk about your product and services. You want to thoroughly describe your product and service and associate it with any intellectual property information you may have, why your product or service is unique. And this is really a big part of where you come in, Rick, because colorful photos or drawings can really do a lot to illustrate your business, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about how, not only how you market it, but who you market it to, and in the different types of forums that you can use, whether it's visual, print, et cetera. That's your marketing person is going to play an integral part in helping you promote the product or service, once you have all the other steps set up.
But I mean, where you come in, or somebody like you specifically comes in, is we work off the old adage that a picture is worth 1,000 words, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And there are pictures, and then there are great photographs, right? And so the distinction on who you hire to do these photos or graphics for you is going to can really make a big difference in whether you have an A+ business or a C- business.
Right. I mean, it's all about making an incredibly great first impression.
Yep.
And your visual presentation, whether they're photos or videos, they've got to be spot on. And
that's why you should get a hold of Rick if and when you're going to do this, because I think it'd be really important to have the best. So anyway, recapping implementation pen to paper real quickly, you have to write an executive summary, which is your company description. You have to do a market analysis, and there's various websites that can help you with that. You have to do financial projections over the course of 3 to 5 years, which you have to go over with your accountant. You have to decide who your team is going to be. Is it going to be independent contractors? Is it going to be employees? What kind of business entity are you going to establish? Because that might help you decide how big your team is going to be and what kind of team you're going to have, i.e. contractors or employees. And finally, you have to describe and implement your product and services visually by whatever marketing means you're going to use. So again, to make this business plan work, remember, folks, what does a business plan do? We talked about that in the first section of the show. Number 2, you have to brainstorm and decide what you have to think about with regard to your specific product or service. And number 3, you have to implement the plan by putting pen to paper and go through those 5 areas that we just discussed. So I hope that's been somewhat helpful for you. But the main point I think we wanted to get across today, Rick, is that developing a business plan can be done by anyone. It can be executed by anyone if you have the proper guidelines that you can, go by. And that's what we tried to provide everybody today, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you have any questions to our viewers out there, Bill is extremely versed and has done this for many clients, as well as contract work and among other things, business related. You can always reach out to Bill for legal consult or myself for any marketing questions that you may have. Our contact information here is below. Any closing?
Where can they find it? Where can they find us on the internet?
Oh yeah, you can always find us on social media, on Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, at Bottle Business Sense Show, or am I missing one? Facebook,
Twitter, LinkedIn.
Twitter, LinkedIn, all of those different platforms. Just type in Bottle Business Sense Show, and you'll find our information there. So, subscribe. You can follow us. You can certainly listen to previous podcasts. Go to bottlebusinesssenseshow.com, and there's a whole host of almost 3 3.5 years of resources there from previous shows that we've done, all categorized for you. So whatever topic that you're interested in, you can always go back and review our previous video casts.
And I think we're also, if I'm not mistaken, our videos are on YouTube, right, Rick?
Yep, videos are searchable on YouTube. Of course, we broadcast the audio version of this show on Blog Talk Radio as well.
That's right. Well, great show, Rick. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you, everybody out there. I hope it's been helpful for you, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Bottle Business Sense show.
All right. We'll see you again, guys. Talk to you soon.